This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Harris, haven't seen much of them. We haven't seen much of them. What have you seen from them in their progress this year in practice and in the meeting rooms?
Yeah, I mean they're making progress. Like you would want to expect rookies to. Pierce played a little more in the kicking game, and again, those guys get a lot of carries in the scout team periods, along with JJ, and so we have confidence in all those players, and they work hard. They're getting better. Just a couple of good players in front of them.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Next question, Zach Cox, followed by Chris Ryan.
Hey, Bill. I know sacks aren't everything for pass rushers, but Josh Uche has been able to be pretty consistently productive over these last couple of weeks in that area. Just in your view, what has allowed him to have that kind of production lately?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing for Josh this year has just really been his availability. Josh is a good athlete, and he has good speed off the edge and good pass rush techniques. But you build that through timing, consistency, and running games with your teammates and so forth. And he's done that since he's been here. But this year he's been able to do it on a more consistent basis in practice and training camp, and really build that continuity as opposed to kind of being in and out of things and sometimes not fully being available for some of the roles that this year he's really been available for on really almost a daily basis. So that I think that's helped him as much as anything, just his consistency and the continuity he's been able to establish on the practice field, which has carried over into the games, which has carried over into higher production and more opportunities.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Chris Ryan, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Good, Chris.
I had kind of a big picture question about players, the offensive skill positions. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of really talented guys, over the last couple of weeks. Do you feel that these players are, better, faster, quicker, more talented than guys of the past? Have we seen an evolution in that area where guys are continuing to get better, or could certain guys play in any era?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I've seen a lot of great players at that position through the years, so I'm not sure about the comparisons. But we've certainly had to cover, whether it's the Marvin Harrisons, who's in the Hall of Fame, or Randy Moss, who we've had or covered, who's in the Hall of Fame. Players like that. We can rattle off quite a few more, but those players are pretty good. They demanded a lot of attention, and if you didn't give it to them, and they had good quarterbacks, they were able to rack up a lot of yards. So I don't know. It's an interesting question, but certainly there's a lot of great skilled players in the game now. But I think that's always kind of been the case.
Yeah, I was talking to Lawrence Taylor about that, and he said, basically like Mahomes is the same as Randall Cunningham was, but perhaps he's given more leeway to do things. Like, do you feel that these schemes have changed, but a guy like Cunningham or Warren Moon could do similar stuff to whether it's Mahomes or Kyler Murray?
Well, I would agree with him on that. I think the schemes have changed. You see the quarterbacks in the shotgun way more than they were, 15, 20 years ago, and certainly before that. You see way more passes than we've seen if you go back to some of the earlier Super Bowls, 20 passes in a game kind of thing. Now you get that before the end of the first half. So, and certainly a lot of the passing plays that are, extensions of running plays, getting the ball to guys in space, whether that's RPOs or little bubble passes and things like that, more receivers on the field, and fewer blockers on the field. Just gives the quarterback more guys to throw to, and so I think we've seen the schemes in the game definitely change to statistically where you see a lot more passes, a lot more completions, a lot more yards, a lot fewer rushing attempts. So yeah, I agree with that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Dakota Randall.
Hey, Bill, I wanted to follow up on your answer to a question Phil had yesterday regarding a possible change in offensive play caller, because you said you feel good about the system you have in place, including the offensive staff, you would quote whatever the process is. Specific to the offense, what makes you feel good about it?
Yeah, look, I'm not saying that we can't improve in every area, because we can. And we'll continue to try to do that. And so that's across the board. Players, plays, coaches, decisions, etc. Like, we're always trying to improve all the time. We'll continue to do that. So that's where we are. That's where we have been. That's probably where we always will be. It's always trying to do a little bit better and try to find the best ways to be successful.
Yeah, I think it's more the question of, the positive things that are coming out from the current system in place. I understand you're always trying to get better, always doing things with the intention to win. Where are you encouraged within the current offensive system?
Yeah, and again, success comes through consistency, and that's really what we're trying to build towards. Always more consistency, more production, and we'll continue to try to work towards that.
Next question, Dakota Randall, followed by Mark Daniel.
Hey, Bill, I believe Barmore is eligible to start practicing next week. Do you expect him to travel out west with you this weekend, or is that not something that you'll really be able to know until later in the week?
Right. Well, we won't make any decision until it's time to make that decision. But yeah, Christian's making good progress. We'll evaluate it. We do daily. We see him daily, and he's working hard, making progress. But we'll see exactly where he is and what he'll be ready to do, and when he'll be ready to do it. So we'll talk to the the medical and training staff and strength staff, the people that have been working most closely with him, trying to get him ready for that. The time frame that the league allows is obviously relevant, because we can't exceed that, or we can't go in front of that, but ultimately it comes down to what the player's physical status is and what he can do, and so that determination will be made by the people that are working with him on that rehab and in that process. So yeah, we'll see how it goes here at the end of the week.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sure.
Next, Mark Daniels, followed by Kyrie Thompson.
Hey, Bill, sort of a similar question. One, Marcus Cannon, is he in a position where, he could return and play for you this season, or, is he done due to his injury? And then a follow-up to that would be just what has to improve in your pass protection? I know this year you guys have allowed, more sacks than you did last year. The numbers are sometimes misleading, but what has to improve there?
Right. Well, Marcus' situation, like everyone's, every player who's is dealing with anything or is on injury reserve, would be a case by case basis, and those injuries are a little bit different. Injuries are different, so they'll be treated differently based on the different individuals. But again, yeah, collectively, offensively, it's about overall team execution. Some of the things are all the things that we can talk about are somewhat interrelated. I mean, obviously, the passing game is a function of protection, timing, coverage, decision making, etc. So sometimes there's good protection and not good throwing opportunities. Sometimes there are good throwing opportunities, not enough protection, and so forth. Sometimes it could be a combination of things. So it's really about the execution, the individual plays. We've had good plays, we've had bad plays. They haven't all come on the same type of play. Not everything falls into the same bucket. 3-step drops, 5-step drops, deeper drops, play action, quarterback movement plays, etc. Third down plays, first down plays. So it's really, there are a number of different things that that go into to this discussion, and I appreciate the question, but it really it transcends a lot of overall execution of the particular play that was called against the team and the defense that we're facing, and whatever plays haven't gone well, we have to address either better design or better execution or better timing or something, so that we don't have negative plays.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Next question, Kerry Thompson, followed by Evan Lazar.
Coach, we talked a bunch about Marcus Jones as a return man and what he did on offense last Thursday, but he also got some early action on defense, had a good play on Gabe Davis, I believe. How far has he come defensively, as a cornerback, and what about his skill set and his development made you want to put him out there, in such a big game against those receivers last Thursday?
Well, we were a little short at corner compared to where we usually were with Jalen Mills inactive. So I'd say that's certainly part of the answer to the question. But again, the big thing for Marcus was his availability and ability to practice and work on his fundamentals and techniques and improve. And so he didn't have a lot of that opportunity in the spring, and then was a couple weeks delayed getting back into that into training camp. And I'd say at that point there were some other people that were ahead of him, not necessarily because they were that he was deficient. He just hadn't had a lot of opportunity to even be out there. And so overall our cornerback depth has been pretty competitive. Jack had a good training camp and has made some solid plays for us in that area. And so again, it's just how many of those guys can you get on the field? Miles, Jalen, John Jones, Jack, and so forth. Not to mention the competition at safety with our 4 players there that have a lot of playing time. So again, Marcus has continued to work hard, continue to improve. His fundamentals have gotten better. His communication, experience, anticipation, all those things. But just having a chance to do it has been a big plus for him. And as he's gotten more opportunity, he's gotten better. He's gotten more comfortable with his teammates. They've gotten more comfortable with him. Communication, recognizing things, making adjustments, that type of thing. So it's been a combination of all those, but just having him out there on a daily basis, and him getting the opportunity to do it has been beneficial to him and certainly the rest of the secondary.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next question, Evan Lazar, followed by Phil Perry.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Marcus as well, and just how you guys go about deciding, how many snaps he plays in each phase of the game, and not overworking him, or is there a limit to, being able to play him on offense, defense, and special teams at a pretty good clip?
Right. Well, I'm sure there's a limit here. His roles in the kicking game have really been in the 2 return phases and on some kickoff coverage plays, and then defensively he's played both inside and outside, and offensively he played a handful of snaps last week. So we'll just continue to evaluate that and try to again find ways that that he can help the team that would be most beneficial to his utilization. I don't think he's been overtaxed in any of those areas, but as you point out, potentially could they add up? Sure. We've dealt with this before with other players that have really been more offensive players, like Troy Brown and Edelman, who also played defense. Of course, both those players return kicks and were involved in the kicking game as well. So we've had some experience with this type of player, this type of thing before. But each case is a little bit different, and we'll see how it goes. But he's a player that has some good skills, and we'll try to see how it all plays out.
And just quickly, has he got any experience in your system with downfield routes, or we mostly saw him like on the screen or a jet motion or something like that? But has he run any of the route tree at all?
Right. Well, he only played a handful of plays here against Buffalo, and but yeah, we'll see what he can, what he has done, what we'd be able to get to, and again, some of that's a function of other factors, outside of him, not just what he can do, but where other people would go and how things would develop. So we'll just have to wait and see. But certainly he has been explosive with the ball in his hands. We've all seen that.
Thank you.
Looks like two final questions will be Phil Perry followed by Dakota Randall.
Hey, Bill, wanted to ask you something that Troy Brown mentioned the other day when he was asked about Tyquan Thornton. He said something to the effect of, you don't necessarily have to be catching a lot of passes to have an impact on the game. Have you seen markers of progress from Tyquan in some of those other areas? Just based on the fact, if you're looking at the box scores, really since that Cleveland game where he had the 2 touchdowns, he's been sort of quiet in terms of statistical production. But are you seeing him advance in other areas? Maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think Troy put it well. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't argue with that.
Is there anything in particular that has struck you about his progress over the last several weeks here?
I mean, yeah, it's been consistent. Again, similar to the conversation we just had with Marcus. Ty was a little bit limited in the spring, got off to a good start in training camp. Got injured in the Carolina game, missed the rest of preseason, missed the early part of the season, worked back in. Now for several weeks now, he's been out there on a regular basis, practicing every day, playing, and again, taking the box score out of it, just in terms of assignments, execution, adjustments, playing multiple positions based on the formation, things like that. Yeah, all those have been progress for him. So the more he can be out there, the more he can have the opportunity to play and learn and get experience and improve. Yeah, the better. And he's done all that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Last question, Dakota Randall.
Yeah, Bill, kind of a random question. Chris's question and mentioning of LT earlier had me wondering, and I know you're focused on your own team and your own players, and I don't even know how much you've been able to watch of him, but a lot of people, former players and coaches, have compared Micah Parsons to Lawrence Taylor. Just wondering, what do you think of those comparisons, whether they're fair, maybe not from a career accomplishment standpoint, obviously, but like a raw talent standpoint?
Yeah, we saw Parsons last year. That was pretty early in the season. We don't see a lot of them, so yeah, it'd be a hard question for me to answer. I appreciate it, but yeah, it'd be. It's not taking anything away from anybody. It's just I haven't really seen a lot of it. Be hard for me to put anybody ahead of LT, but maybe there are. I don't know. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you.